Hello everyone, welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this one-off tutorial, we're trying to see how to build something very simple with Streamlit. We're building a very simple blog, which is going to be something very exciting. So let's see what we're building. So if I come to the home page, I have several articles, several posts here with different title, with the title, and then the author name, and then something simple, and then an avatar here, right? Then if I go back to the sidebar, I can view a particular single post here. All the posts I can see, I can view it from here. So if I go to the view post, it's going to automatically list all the posts here, right? Another post session. Then I can select a particular post. So let's say I want to select something like practical AI. If I click on the practical AI, it's going to bring it here perfectly for us. I can also come back again to, let's say, awesome Streamlit. It's going to list it perfectly for us. Very nice. So that is something cool. You can also check for something different, let's say baptizo. Then it's going to expand. So no matter how long your article is or your post is, going to bring it in this particular format. That is something nice. Now let's check how to add post. If I go to the add post, I can add post. So this is going to give us some sessions in which you can put in our data. So let's enter the title. Let's go just testing 3, right? You can just give it any name. Then you can just give a name. So let's say Jesse. Everybody likes his name. Then I can post in an article here. So let's try and post in something there. Right, so this is something about, so let's change the title from here, because this is about the nativity of Jesus, something like that, right? It can be any name. So we are saving an article there. Then this is using the new feature, which is from the version 0.60 upwards, in which you can set a limit, right? So it cannot be more than 50. That is very, very cool. And then this is also having another feature in which we have a height of our post, right? It cannot be more than that. Something very cool, right? So I can then select the date, the post date. So let's use tomorrow, right? That is if you are watching from the future. Then I'll just go with add. So if I go with add, it's going to add our post for us. So post the nativity of Jesus has been saved. So if I come back to the home, you can see that the post that we pasted there is part of the summarized one, right? If I come down, so that now here the nativity of Jesus. And then this is something very simple, right? It's giving us not everything, but something small. So to view the entire stuff, you just go back to the view post. Then automatically it's going to bring all the posts that you have written here. So you can see that we have it here, like my nativity of Jesus. I'm going to bring the entire stuff. Very simple, very nice. So I can also go back to the search option in case I want to search a particular post. If I go to the search, I can search by the title or by the author. So let's search for something like by the title. So we have Jesse, right? The one that you entered. Then I want to search by the author, right? So I go with search. It's going to bring all articles written by Jesse, right? So this is the article written by Jesse. The first one, new post. The second one, practical AI. And then the third one, the nativity of Jesus. Very interesting, very simple, right? Something very nice. You can also search by title in case you also want to do that. Then I can go back to the sidebar. I can go to the manage blog. So this is where we be managing our blog. So this is something like the CRUD, but this we are not adding updates, right? Only CRD. Okay, so let's check it out. So if I come to the manage blog, you can see that from here we have all the articles, the author, the title, and then the post, and then the date in which we were given, right? Very interesting. Then I can also come back to the new post and search for something. So in case I want to delete a particular post, let's say I want to delete a post like the one I created, this one, right? So I can just go back to this place. Then it's going to show it here. So this is the one. So click on it. Then I'll click on delete. Then it's automatically going to delete it from our database, right? Where we are storing our stuff. So if I go back and I refresh it, that is another thing you're supposed to see how to work on it in the future. So if I go back again to this, so now it is no more there, right? The nativity of Jesus is no more there. That is one thing. You can also check for the metrics. If I go back to this metrics, I can see the metrics of my blog. So it's going to give us the same data set that we had with the length of each and every of the articles written. Then I can also see the author statistics. So which of these authors have written the most? So TC Rex has written more articles. JC2 has also written more articles, right? So this is going to be the author stat. Then I can also come back again, which is going to be another pie chart, giving us the percentage of the articles on our system, right? Very interesting. Then we can also do a word cloud. So if I go to click the checkbox for the word cloud, we can see that it's going to give us the word cloud, right? So we're listing them perfectly for us. It's going to combine all the articles and then generate a very simple word cloud of all the words there, and then we can save it. So in case you want to save it, you can just save the image. Very simple, right? Then the last thing is that we can also have a bar H plot for the longest article, that is the length of each and every of the articles, which of the authors have written the most articles. So if I go back to the bar H plot, it's going to create a bar H plot with all of these things for us. So this is it. And now that's giving us, it's generating the plots. Then we can see it at work. Taking some time. Perfect. So this is it. Something very simple, right? So we can actually modify the pictures, right? In case you want to use a new color picker to modify these things as you wish. So that is something very simple that we want to build in this tutorial. So let's see how to build this thing from scratch, right? So be starting from scratch. So this is something very simple. This is a CRUD, create, read, update, delete. But this time we are not updating, right? You will do that later in the future. So let's check it out. So I'll set up my place, then we start writing some code. So I'll go back to my terminal, which is here. Then I'll close this one off. Right, so let's make a directory. So let's call it as, so I'll make the directory, let's call it as st blog, right? Something like that. That's the directory I'm making. Then I'll move into my st blog. Perfect. So let's create our file. Don't know whether you can see it well. app.py. Right, very interesting. Let's open our directory. Then you start writing some code. To open, perfect. Let's open it here. Perfect. So I've set up my place. So we will just close this one off, right? And then we start writing something simple. So let's go to my app.py. Then we just go with our almighty, make it bigger. Streamlit to import Streamlit or Streamlit as st as the first thing we need. So these are the main thing that we need, right? So we put the first scratch of the entire app, then you do the other aspect. So let's start with this. So I'm going to define my main function. Then this is going to be simple description of the app. So simple CRUD, right? So let's call it CRD because we will not be updating, but you can also call it simple CRD blog, right? Something very simple. Then st.title. Then here we can give it a simple blog, right? You modify this later to add some beautification to it later. Perfect. Then from here, just going to close it with our if main. That is all. So all our code is going to be here, right? Very interesting. So let's create our menu. So our menu is going to have 5 different sections. We are going to have our home, then you have our view post, then you have our add post, right? So we have our create, then read, right, for the view post, and then the next one is going to be our search. Then we will have manage post. So inside our manage block, that's where we'll be deleting and checking our metrics, right? Something very simple. Then let's create our choice for selection. So st.sidebar dot select box. Then I'll pass in my, let's go to menu, and then the menu list, right? Perfect. So that is something very simple. So now if I go back, let's select it individually. So if my choice is equal to, let me make it this way. So let's bring it here. Perfect. So that you can see it very well. So if my choice is home, then I want you to give us the home option. So st.subheader home, right? So inside the home, that is where we place in all our blocks, right? Perfect. Then let's create another one for the else if. So else if my choice is equal to view post, then this place will be doing the same thing. So this will view all the posts. So view articles, right? I can't spell articles, right? Very interesting. So I'll repeat this one for the rest. So let me copy this one here, then repeat it for this and this, right? So we have then the last one, right? So we have one for the view post, one for the adding post, and let's just add articles or add articles or post articles, anyhow you want it to be. Then this is going to be for search, which you can search an article. So search articles. Then the last one is going to be for the management of our blog, right? Where we'll put in our deletion and then our metrics. So manage blog, right? Perfect. So let's go just manage articles, something very simple. So we have created simple stuff. Now let's run it and see what you have done so far. So I come back to my terminal, then I'll run. We have our app here, so it's going to go with Streamlit. So the version I'm using is version 0.60, right? That is if you're watching from the future, right, or from the past. But some of the features we're using is available from version 0.60 and upwards, right? So this is the version we are using. So let's run it out. It's going to be run Streamlit run our app.py. It's going to automatically run it and generate a port in which you'll be listening on, right? So whilst it's doing that, let's go back and check what you have done so far. Alright, so it has opened with this particular URL. So I'll copy this one here, and then we'll use it to do whatever I want to do. So I'll copy this one, then place it inside my Chrome. So we see what you have done so far, right? It's going to run it perfectly. Then let's see. Perfect. So our simple block. Then we have our home. We have our sidebar. Everything is working as expected. So we have our home, view post, add post, and then search, and then manage block, right? So everything is working as expected, right? It's supposed to be add post, right? Plural. Everything is working as expected. So if I go to the view post, we can have it working perfectly. If I go to the add post, everything is working. So let's go to the add post and then create an option in which the user can paste in his article. So we'll be using a simple test input to help us do that. So we are working first of all on the add post. So it's going to be something like this. So we have my blog author, right? Then it's going to be st.test input. Then I'll pass in enter author name, right? Author name, something like that, right? Very simple. Then for the author name, the new feature for the version 0.60 is that you can also add the maximum number of characters, so max characters. So I can specify the maximum number of characters there, which is going to be 50. So it's not going to allow more than 50, right? Perfect. That is for the author name. Then I can also do another one for the title. Then another one for the text area. So let's change this one to blog title, which is going to be enter article or post title, post title. Then we can, this one we will leave it because the title can be longer, so I'm not going to set any maximum number of characters. That is all. Then for the message, let's call this blog post, right? You can call it blog article. Then from here, I'll just tell the user to enter post, right? Or post article here, right? Something like that. Then we are not going to set a maximum number of characters. You can do that with the text area, but we are not setting it. You are going to allow it to be as the user wishes. So I'm going to change this one from st.test input to st.test area because it is for message. Then I can set the height of it. So if I go with height, then I can specify, let's say 100, right? By default, if I go with this option, it's going to work. So let's save it and see what you have done. So I'll come back to this side here. Let's always run. Right, so let's always run. So you can see that we have our blog post here where we can paste the article, but this is the default one. But I can also specify the limit of it, so I can specify a height to it. So let's go, let's say height of, let's say 200. If I go with 200, it's going to become bigger than the initial one. So you see that this is bigger, right? You can see that from here it is bigger than the initial one. Then also for the author title, we have a limit of 50, so I can't type more than 50. So if I type in something like that and it reaches 50, it's going to give us an error, right? Or a notification that it's giving us this red, so it can't exceed it. That is a very nice feature that has been added to Streamlit, which is very nice. Perfect. So we have seen how to receive input from the user. Now let's save it, right? So I'm going to create another button to help us save it, but let's add the post date. So let's go to that blog post date. Then here is going to be, see how I spell date, st.date input. Then here we just go with date, right? So this is going to be the date. Then the matter is going to generate a very nice date plot for us. Very simple, right? Cool, right? And this one you can just select it and then you can choose the dates that you want. So everything is going to be stored inside this particular variable. Then you need to find a place of storing this data, right? So that is, let's go to st. Let me bring it here. If st.button going to add, right? Add, in case you want to add, so let's call it a simple add, or we can call it a save. Then I'm just going to save it, right? So let's go to st.success, telling the user that the post has been saved, right? So post has been saved, right? So dot format. Then let's use a title for it. So blog title. Very interesting, right? So in case somebody enters something there, and I click on the button add, it's going to show that the post has been saved. Now we have to store this data that you are receiving in our backend, right? Where we can show it to the user. So this is the most important aspect for the app now, to be able to receive data. The only option that we have here is that after typing something, we need another button to clear off these things, which is something we will do in the future. And I hope there is a new feature on that, right? So that is the only option, but now it's going to work. So this button is going to keep track of it, to allow us to add data into our database. So let's go back to the top of our file. And we'll be using SQLite to help us with that. You can use any database. So let's make it like DB. So it's going to be import SQLite3, right, to help us. So this is what we're using to save our data. Then I need to create a connection. So con is going to be my SQLite3, SQLite3 dot connection or connect. Then I'm going to connect it to my database. So let's go to data.db. That is all that we need, right? Perfect. Then let's create a cursor to be used to do our execution. So dot cursor. Right. Perfect. That is all. Right. So this is going to create a connection to our database. Now we have to create some functions to allow us to be able to connect, to allow us to be able to interact between our database, right? So we'll be creating a function using normal SQL functions to help us receive data from the front end to our database, right? So this is going to be functions, right? Some simple functions. See how I spelled functions. Okay, it's going to be functions. Perfect. Then from here, let's create our first table. So we're going to create a function called create table. So def create table. Then this is going to be a simple function, right? So these are simple SQL stuff. So execute. I'm going to go with this option of create table if not exist. If the table doesn't exist. So we're creating a table if the table does not exist. Even if it exists, it's going to override it, right? It's going to override it or use the same table that is existing. Then let's call that table as blog table, right? Then the blog table is going to take in some parameters. So the parameters which will be taken is that it will take the author. We had author, title, article, post date, right? So these are the main things we'll be taking. We're going to go with author, then title, then the next one is going to be, let's say, the article itself. Article, you can call it message, then the post date, right? You can call it a post date. So these are the 4 main things we are receiving, right, into our database. Then I'm going to specify the particular stuff. So this is the simplest format, right, to do it. Now I have to specify the particular data type that the author, the title, article, or the post date is going to take. So that means I have to go back with this. So the author is going to take a data type of test, the article test, article also test, and then let me bring myself down here. Okay, this is me. Okay, then this one you can just use date, right? Date. Perfect. So that is all that we need, right? That is all that we need to create our table. So this function is going to create our table. Very simple, right? So we have a function to create our table. Then we need another function to be able to receive or add data to it. So let's go ahead and add data. So this function is going to take in some stuff. It's going to take the author name, the title, the article, and then the post date, right? So this is where we'll be inserting the data into our database. It's going to be c.execute, as we always do. Then it's going to be insert into my blog table the particular values. So we'll be inserting into our blog table into this respective field. So author, title, article, post date. These are the fields. I want to insert something there. So what am I inserting? I'm inserting these values there. So I'll be using this option to help us with that, right? So that this means that irrespective of whatever you're putting, put it inside these respective values, right? Then I'll just add in my values, which is going to be my, let's create a tuple of author, title, article, and then post date, right? That is all that we need, right? Very simple and very nice. So after inserting it, we need to be able to save it. So this is going to insert it there, but for us to be able to save it, we have to just commit it, just like we do in git, right? Dot commit to be able to save it. That is all, right? So I've created two functions: one to create our table, one to add our data into our database, and let's create another function to view it, right? So it's going to be a simple function to view it. So def.view, or let's call it view all notes, or you can call it view all puts, but let's call it notes. And we're using something simple, so c.execute, then select, let's use simple, execute, yeah. select all from our blog table. That is all. Then we are going to store the data. So data is going to be my c.fetch_all. Then from here, I will just return that, so we can return our data, right? That is all that we need, right? Something very simple. So we have one to create, one to add data, and one to view our data. We can also add the remaining functions left to search, to edit, and to do the rest, right? So let's see what you have done. So I'll come back to my view post here, right? I'll come back to the home. I want to preview everything that we have there. Then also I want to store the data. So I'll come back to the add post first. Then let's create our table. So I'll create a table at the top here. We call that function create table. So anytime the person comes to the add table, the table is created, right? Or the table is activated. Then from here, I'll just store my data. So if the person adds, click on this button, add. I want to add the data, or the data that we are saving from here. So the blog, we have the blog author, we have the blog title, have the blog article, and then the blog post date, right? So it's going to store these ones into our function above, which is going to store it into our database, right? That is the basic understanding behind it. I'll save this one here, and now let's preview it. So I'll come back to the same place, and let's just go with my view all function, view all notes. Let's store inside the variable called result. Then let's preview it. So st.write. You modify this ones later. Result. Let's save it and see what you have done so far. So I'll come back to the sidebar here. So this is our post. Everything is working. So let's enter something simple. So let's call it as Jesse first. Then this is going to be first post. Right. Then I'll just paste something. So this is a test. So this is a test. See how I spelled. This is this is a test, right? Perfect. So the date is already selected, and I can go with add. So if I go with add, it's going to add it there. Post has been saved. Now if I go back to the home option, where we have all our posts there, you can see that now our post is there, right? In a very nice format, right? But this is a list of a list, so we have to make sure that we move from this list and pick only the title, the author, then the post, right? That is what you'll be doing next. So let's see how to work on that. So I'll just come back to add some beautification to it. So we're using a simple HTML to help us with that. That is where we will be adding the beautification. So we'll be using markdown to help us with that. So I'll come back to my here, to the top of my file, and let's put this one as layout template, right? So we'll be using something simple. So let's give it something like title temp. You can give it any name, but I'm calling them title temp to be title template. Now use a simple HTML. So this is your limit. So your limit is how much you know of CSS, right? And then HTML. So that's what we'll be using. So I'm just going to create my div, which is going to be div like this. Then all our code will go inside here. All our HTML stuff will go inside between this div. So the first thing we'll be doing is that you'll be creating our background. You can add some background color to this. So let's call it style. It's going to be background color. So we can give it any background color. So let's give it this particular value, and this value. Then we can set a padding. So let's give it a pattern of, let's say 10 pixels. Then you can also set margin of, let's say 10 pixels, right? That is all that we need, right? Perfect. So we have created a style. Now we can go with our header. Let's call this h44 /h4. So I'll first do the first one, then I'll paste the rest to save us time, right? So style, you can just give this one the style that you want. So let's give it a color of, say, white. You can also add other stuff to it, like test align and all of these things, which is going to be something like this. So test align, then you can just call it as center, right? Perfect. So I'll put in, this is going to be, let me make it like this. This is going to be we are using string format, right? So we are creating a curly bracket here to allow us to insert data here. Then do the same thing for the, this is going to be for the author name, the title. Then the next one is going to be for the author name, and then the next one is going to be for the post, right? So we have the post. Let's use, for the post, let's use a p tag. Nice. So very interesting. So we have one for the author. So let's add something like author name here, so that we know the difference. Author, right? And this is going to be the title, right? Very interesting. So we have created a simple template to enable us to insert data here. So we'll be inserting the title here, the author name here, then the, what do we call it, the article itself. We also have to create one for the post date. So let's use the same thing that we did. Let's make this one 6. So this is going to be for the post date, right? 6. So let's call it as post date. Right, very interesting. Now, how do we insert the data there? So I'll just come back to my home here. Then, as we learned earlier on, this was in a format of a list, right? So if I look through them by this option, so let's take off this. Let's go to 4. Say I in my result, then print st dot right. Right. So if I go with this option, let's save it and see. So the first one is the entire stuff. The second one is giving us as a tuple. So to get only the first name here, the first value here, I have to just do this option. So this is just like a, how do we call it? It's like indexing, right? We are indexing or slicing. So if I go with 0, I'm going to print only the first one there, which is Jesse, right? So by that same idea, this is 0, as is seen here, 0, 1, 2. So in case I want to do the same thing, I have to do the same thing. Now I can, the better way is to store them inside a variable. So let's go to b author. Then I'll just go with the I 0, right? And I'll do the same thing for the rest. They have 4, so this is going to be b author. This is going to be b title, and b title is 1. As you can see here, the title here is 1. Then this is going to be b post for the post itself, or we can call it b article. Article, can't spell article, right? This is going to be 2. As you can see here, this is a test, which is the test article. Then the last one is going to be 4, which is going to be the post date. B post date, right? Something like that. So if I save it now this is in a nicer format, right? It's in a nicer format. It's giving us an error. So 0, 1, 2, 3, not 4. Python will count from 0. Okay, perfect. So everything is working as expected. Now to be able to get only the ones I want, I will just pass in this particular variable. So now I'll just take off this. I can just go with st.markdown to help us with that. So be markdown, right? Then I'll pass in my template, my title template dot format, and I'll pass in the first one. So the first option is the author name, the title, the article itself, and the post, right? So in the same option, I'll just pass in here my b author, the b author. The next one is going to be the b title. The next one is going to be the b. You can call it p or any number, but I'm just making it to make it different, right? b article. Then the last one is going to be the b post, the post date. If I save it now, it's going to show it in a very nice format, right? So this is a nice format, but this is not nice. So to allow us to be able to get the HTML stuff in a very nice format, that is when you're going to set the markdown to true. So on save, allow HTML is equal to true, right? This is a very nice feature to prevent hacks. If I go back here, Now I see that everything is working perfectly, right? So this is nice, right? So we can add more beautification to it to make it nicer. So you have seen how to do that, right? Very simple. So the author, the title is here, and then the author name here. So you have to change it, right? We made a mistake. So let's see. This is the. Let's change it, right? So this is going to be 2. Right. So if I save it now, see that now it's better, right? The first post, the author, and everything is working as expected. Very nice and very cool. So let's see. I've seen how to do that. So if I add more, it's going to work on this. So I'm just going to modify this my template to make it beautiful. And I've already created several templates above. So I'll paste it to save us time, right? So I'll paste those templates here to save us time. Got the same idea. So let's see how to add the image to it, the blog post, before we paste it. So it's going to be this option. So let me paste the avatar here. It's going to be image. Editing image source, then I'm going to paste in a link. So one of the ways is to, the simplest way is to use a link, right? A link to a particular URL where you have your avatar, which is going to be simple because this is, otherwise it's going to be some way, right? Then I'm just going to give it whatever I want to give it. So let me paste it to save us time, right? Because it's a lot of code, right? Perfect. So we are using an avatar from WT3 School. That is where I got how to create an avatar. And then we are using that one to help us. So if I save it now and I come back to what you have done, then it has generated an avatar, right? In a very simple format, right? Very nice. So I can position the avatar in any place that I want it to be. So in case I want to position on the, so float, go with float left, there's going to be on the left, right? Or float right, there's going to be on the right. So this is going to change it, right? So this is a nice format. I can also send it from here to a different place, right? So let me copy our template and then let's see how to work with it. So I'll copy all the templates, which is the same idea, but you have modified it and added beautification to it. So all the beautification will be coming from our templates, right? That's the basic idea. So let me copy it and paste it there. So I'll paste it here. So we have several layouts, right? These are layout template, one for the title, one for the article, one for the head message, and one for the full message, right? So if I go back and I check it back now, it's looking better, right? Because I have modified these templates. So don't worry about it. The code will be below so that I can also check it, right? So that is the basic idea. So now it's looking far nicer than the previous one, right? Very nice. Okay, so let's take off this one because we don't need it anymore. So we will take off this one, and then let's check what you have done so far. Perfect. Everything is moving on well. So let's move on to, we are done with the home, we are done with the add post. Now let's go to the view post, right? So to be able to get the view post here, because this is not like Flax or any other app in which I can click on this and to redirect me to another blog post. We can do that, but I want you to make it simple. So I'm going to copy all of these things here, all the posts here, to the view, so that the person can actually select from the view and view the entire post, right? That is what we'll be doing now. Next, so let's come back to the view post. If I come back to the view post, we will just go straight with, let's create a post list. Let's call that my post list. Then use st.sidebar.select box. Now pass in the view post, right? View post, something like that, right? Then from here, I'll just specify the different type of post there. So let's say we have our new post. Then this is going to be another list of, let's say, second post. Right, I spelled the second wrong. So second post. So if I save it and I come back here, so now it's going to, if I go back to the view post is at this side, right? So we have our new post, our second post. So what I want to do is that anytime somebody pasting an article inside the ad post, we are going to add all that is coming from the ad post in the format of a list, which is going to be populated here so that the person can select it, right? So how do we do that? So I'll just come back to the top of my file. Then instead of using this, we'll be creating a new list to help us with that, right? So be creating a list to help us with that. So this is going to be a list be using to help us with that. So I'll come back to the top of my file where I have my functions. Then I'm going to create another distinct function to help us to get all the titles, right? Not the authors, but only the titles. So how do we do that? It's going to be def, then view all titles. So we'll be using the distinct option to help us select the distinct titles. We're going to be select distinct. Instead of select all, this is going to be select distinct There's another function of SQL. I select distinct title. That's what you're getting from our blog table. And so it's going to store everything there. Then as we did above, you're going to do the same thing below, right? So I'll copy this one because it's the same thing, right? Perfect. So if I go back to what I've done now, I'm now going to create a list which is going to pick only the titles. So let's call it as all titles list, or we can just give it any name as you want to be. Let's call it all titles. Then I'll just go straight away with my view all titles. But that's the function, right? So if I pass in this all titles here, let's save it and see. Now it is coming. So this is the only title there, right? But this is not nice. This is not user friendly, right? So I'm just going to loop through this particular stuff and then get the first value from that. So in that case, let's use a simple for loop. It's going to be this option. So I getting the first value above as we did like this, right? Let's like what we did here. There's going to be for I in this option. So this is going to be better. So if I save it, now it's going to be better without the column, right? We are just looping through them in a list comprehension and getting only the first value. So this is nice and this is better, right? Now how do we see it here, right? So to be able to see it on this side, if the person click on it, we'll be using another function. So we pass in the title that the person is getting into our database to search for it and then to bring it out. So that means it's going to be like my post result. You have to create a function to be able to get all things. So let's go to get blog by title. So this is another function you have to create. Then I'll pass in the post list there, right? It's going to store the results there. Then now I can just go with for I in my post results. Then I'll do the same thing. So I can do the same thing as I did above for the markdown. So it's the same thing we did here. Same thing we did here. I can just copy the same thing here because it's going to be the same thing. Then I'll just use the same markdown that we did, right, to help us see it. I can copy this one here. Then let's bring it down here, right? So something very simple. Now if I check it back here, it's that it's not working, right, because the function get blocked by title is not defined. So let's go back to the top of our file and define that particular function. So I'll come back to where my functions are and create another function to get by the title. So it's going to be the same function above, right, but it's not going to be distinct. So I can copy this thing and I use it for this one. So it's going to be get block by title. So get block by title, that's the function you're creating. Then I'm going to pass in a particular value. So the value I'm passing is the title here, right? So it's going to be select all. Not selecting the title, you're selecting everything. You're using the title to select everything. So I select all from my blog table, right? Where, then this is where you're going to specify what you're using to search by. So here's going to be where title, you're using the title field is equal to what the person wants to do. So let's use something like this. Dot format, and I'm passing the title function there. So I'll be passing this title function into this particular place. Then it's going to be inserting here. I'm going to use it to search for us, right? Something very simple, something very cool, right? Very nice. Now let's save it and see what you have done so far. If I come back, let's check it and see. Giving us a syntax error. Okay, so let's fix that syntax error. So let's fix it. So this must be here, right? Not at the end, right? Perfect. So if I go back, so we are just change it. We just change it. Now it's working, right? Perfect. So still our article is there. So I can view it from here. I go to the sidebar, view it here, right? Everything is working as expected, right? So let's add some more posts to it. So I'll go back to the add post. Let's add at least 2 posts to it. So let's add a new one called, let's call it as Paul James. Then this is, let's call it as awesome Streamlit tools, something like that. Then let's call this is so cool, right? Then I will just add it to it, something very simple. Perfect. So if I go back to the sidebar now, if I go to the view post, you see that you're going to have 2 there, right? So we have the first post and then the awesome Streamlit 2, the one that we created. Then I can select it, it's going to change it perfectly for us. So we are on track. Very interesting. But to be nice, if on the view we split the author name and then the post at one place and then the article itself on one place, we'll be adding that to one. So we use this particular template, the head message template and the full message template to help us generate that. I'll come back to this place. Let's expand it. So instead of using the title template, the initial one, we'll be using the header template. So head, I don't know how I call it, but I think it's head message, right? Yeah, template. So for the head message, we are only taking the title, the author, and then that is all, right? We are not taking the blog post, and this is not part. The article is not part, right? So let's take it out. If I save it and let's check it out, hopefully that doesn't give us any error. Now we only have that one there. Perfect. So we have to create another one for only the post itself with a different color. So I can just come back to the same place, then do the same thing as I did above. So let me copy this here. Then this is where I'll change from the head message to full message. Full message template. Then I'll just put in the article. So all of this is going to go off. You're only passing in the article there. Article. Right, so let's save it and see. Perfect. Everything is working as expected. Very nice and very cool. Right, that is something very nice you have done so far. So you have seen how to do some simple stuff. You have seen how to add post, view post, and then on the home, you can see that our articles are there, right? The first and the second is there, working perfectly well. But it's nice if, at least if the article is not too long, we don't have it. So let me show you what I mean. So I'll go back to the add post, and inside the add post, I'll add a very long post. So I'll copy some post I have somewhere. So I have some post here. So let's create a new file. Right, this is how the post that I have. So let's use something like this, right? So I'll copy this simple plus. This is big. This is huge, so that it looks nice. So if I go back to my post, so let's call this one as, let's say, Josh. Then the title is why Streamlit. Then I'll just post in this post there, which is quite huge, right? Very huge. Now let's add it. So we're going to save our post there, and let me show you what I mean for the home. If I go to the home, see that all of them is working nice. This is nice, this is nice, but this is too huge, right? It seems everything is there. So we want to reduce it so that at least we have just the first sentence or the first phrase, some few phrases. Then these ones, in case you want to read it, you come back to the view post. The view post here, then you can view the entire stuff, right? Very interesting. So that is what we are thinking of doing now. So I go back to the why Streamlit. Now you can see it in a nicer format, right? Something like this. So let's see how to do that. So I just come back to this place, right? So what we are trying to split is our article, right? So I'm just going to add something new to it. We can just do it like this, the same place that you have. I can just pick the first row. So let's convert this one to a string first, which is already a string, right? And I'll just take from 0 to the first, let's say 50, or let's make it the first 10, 30. So if I save it and I go back, now let's go back to the home. So now it has reduced it, right? So the entire stuff is no more, they're just picking the first 30, right? So that is how to make it simple. So in case you want the full stuff, you just go to the view post option, then you can view the entire full stuff there, right? Very nice. Now let's move on to the next section of the search, right? So go with the search, then later I'll move on to the manage. I'll just come back to the search option. So for the search, we're using the same thing that we did above to help us with that. So it's going to be something simple. So let's create a search term input. So a search term is going to be st.test input. Then I'll pass in, so enter search term. Something very simple, right? Then I'm going to create a radio button. So let's go to search choice. So we want to choose the choice that the person can select by either by the title or by the author. It'll be st.radio. Then I'll pass in my stuff. So let's call it as a search choice. So field to search by. So we have two fields. So we'll be given the field of create a tuple. Give the first field of the title. You can search by title, or you can search by the author name, right? These are the two main fields there. So let's save it and see what you have done. So if I come back to the search option, so now we have the search field here, in which you can type in whatever you want to search, and you can choose by the title or by the author, right? Very nice. Now let's do a simple if condition. So if my search choice is equal to title, then I want you to search the field by the title, right? So let's call this article result. Article result. Then I'm going to create a function which I'll do later. So get blog by title, right? You already have that function there, and I can pass in the search term, right? Very interesting. So if I save it, it's going to work perfectly well. Then let's go with else if my search choice is equal to author, then article result is going to be get blog by title search thing. So this is going to be get blog by author, which you have not created yet. So let's go it like this, author. So let's save it. So now that is all. So let's bring it out. So for I in my article result, as we have been doing above, then you paste in the same thing you have been doing as always, in this same thing here, right? So I'll copy the same thing here, so that when you make it in the format of a variable, it is easy, right? The same thing above, right? Perfect. So let's save it. Now let's check it out. So we had, if you go back to what you have done so far, we had some titles here, right? If I go to the view post, you can see that we have a first post, right? So if I go back to the search option, let's go back to the search, and then I can search by first post. So first post, you're searching by the title, right? So if I go with by the title, it must show it to us, but we did not create a button, right? So let's create a button to help us with that. So let's call this button as, so it's working, it's showing the first post there, right? But we need a button, right, so that it looks nicer. So I'll come back to my top here, then I go with my something simple. So let's make it like if st.button is equal to search, right? If the person says search, click on that button, then let's position all of this thing by the side. So I'll just go back here, shift it by the side, voila. So now we have it here. So I can now go with the search. This is going to print it out perfectly for us. Search, going to bring it out down. Perfect, right? So the article is there. Very simple, very nice. So we are done with the search. We are done with the view, the add, and then the home. Now let's go to the manage blog, right? So we'll be going to the manage blog to help us with that. But before we move on to the manage blog, you know that we forgot the function of get a person search by the author, right? So we have to create that function. So I'll just go back to the top of my file. Then we will also create the same thing. So it's the same thing we did here, but the only thing we'll be changing is that the same thing we did here. Apologies, but the only thing we'll be doing here is that you will just change the field, right? So this is going to be searched by author, right? And then we'll just change it here, right? So this is going to be author. There's a field, then we'll change this one and this one. Simple, right? So that means that it's going to work now. So if I go back and let's try it out, let's go to the search. Let's search by Jesse. Let's search by the author. Click on search. Perfect, everything is working. So it is working perfectly, right? Very nice. So we have done this thing. Now let's go to the option of managing our blog. So inside the managing our blog, you want to show all the data there. Then you also want to see the option of deleting. Then in the future, you can also do that as your assignment on how to edit it. Then we will do the metrics, right? So this is going to take some time. I hope you are learning something. So in case you are not subscribed to this channel, you can also subscribe and check the links below for some interesting materials to help you master machine learning and then Python. Okay, so let's move on to this. So just going with something simple. So I want to preview everything. So let's go to my results, then view all nodes function that you created above. And I'm going to create a database, right? I'm going to create a data frame. So let's go to my clean DB, my clean database. Then I just go with pd.data frame. We're using pandas data frame, so I have to import it from above. So let's import our EDA packages. So these are our functions, this is our database. Let's go to EDA packages. So we will be importing pandas as PD. Then let's import matplotlib, import matplotlib.py plot to help us with our plot as plt. Then we're going to import matplotlib. Then we'll be using matplotlib.use agg, right? Perfect. These are the main stuff you'll be doing, right? So this is something simple. So I'll come back to my manage blog. Then I will pass in my result. So I'll pass in the result, first one. Then the next thing is that I'm going to create my columns. So columns is going to be, we have a column for the author, the first one, another column for the title, another column for the article itself, then the last column is going to be for the post date, right? Something like that. So we have these columns. So to preview out, can just go with st.dataframe. Can use table if you want. Clean DB. So let's save it and see whether it's going to work perfectly for us. So go back to the sidebar now. Perfect, everything is working, right? Everything is working as expected. So we have everything working well. Now what we'll be doing is that we want to be able to delete it. So how do we delete it, right? So what I want to do is that I want to delete by title, not by the author, because the author can be the same person, but the title may change. So I want to delete by the title. So I'll come back here and create a list for all the titles as we did above. There was a function that we created to get the list of the title, which was this one, right? So I'll copy the same function here as we did above, right? So I can even copy the same thing because the same thing. So copy this here, right? So all titles, and let's change this one to B. Delete blog by title. It's too long, but it's descriptive, right? So if I save it now, it's going to bring that one here. Let's bring it here. Right, so this is view, no, something simple, right? So we can make it like, let's call it, instead of view page, let's make it unique title, right? Something very simple. And you can even change this all title to unique titles, so that is different from the one above. So let's check it out. Perfect. So hopefully everything is working. So this on the sidebar, let's change it on the sidebar and put it by itself. That's why it was not showing. Okay, perfect. So everything is showing here. So let me bring myself here. Okay. So they posted there. So all they post there, Streamlit tools, why Streamlit, all of them are here. So you can, if I click on it, then I can just click on a button, then it's going to delete it by the title, right? So let's create a button. So if st.button, going to delete, then I'll use a function to help us delete it. So let's go to delete data function, and I'll pass in my delete blog by title. So we have to create that particular function. So let's go with st.warning. Then we can just go with deleted the particular post the person put there. Dot format. Then I'll just go with delete blog by title, right? Very interesting. So we have to create this function called delete data. So I'll come back to where my functions are. Where my functions are. So my functions are where? My functions are here, right? So we'll be creating another function to help us delete it. So this is going to be def delete data function, which is going to take the title and the basic apply. Then you'll be using a simple SQLite to help us delete it. So that is going to be my c.execute. Then we're using this command of delete from block table where, so we're using the title to help us with that, not wow, where the title is equal to, just like we did above here, right? Just like we did above here. So I'll copy this one here because the same thing. So we are using the title to delete it, right? Then after that, you are supposed to commit it to save the changes. So con.commit. That is what we need, right, to help us delete it. So if I come back here, so this function is the one being used inside our manage option. Right, we are managing it here, right? Perfect. So let's check it out. So come back here. So we have our first post. Let's go with our first post, right? Then if I click on delete, it's going to delete our first post. So deleted first post. So if I go back and I go back to the home page, you can see that our first post is no more there, right? Only just two. Very simple, very nice. So we are done with most of them. So we are done with the CRD. No more U, right? We will not use U. We will not update or edit. We will do that later in the future. So now let's go back to the manage and then add our metrics, right? For it. So we are done with most of the app. This is just the simple stuff. Now let's work on our metrics. If I come back to this place, so we have gotten our data frame here, right? So we'll be using our data frame that we have gotten to do our metrics. So I'll just go with if st.checkbox metrics. I'll call it any name. So inside the metrics, we'll be doing some other interesting stuff. So what I want to do for the metrics is that I want to create a new data frame, which is going to take the old data frame, right? Then inside the new data frame that I have, I'm just going to add another column for the article length, which is going to be with the new data frame. Then you're taking all the article dot string dot length, right, to get the length of that particular stuff here. String dot length, yeah, right, perfect. So this is going to be a new one. So if I go with st dot data frame, and I'll pass in my new df. So if I save it, so for the metrics now, you can see that we have something different, right? If I go to the metrics, because there we have our blog, and then we have another column for the length, right? Very interesting. So that is one of the metrics. Now let's go on and show the status of the people, the number of articles that each and every of the individuals have created. So I'll call it as st. Let's bring it up. Let's subheader author stats, right? And then just go with something simple. So let's call this one as my new data frame. Then I'll pass in my author table, author column dot value count. Then I can just go with dot plot. The kind is going to be bar. Kind is equal to bar. Right, something very simple, right? So this is as much as you want it to be. Then I can just go st.pyplot to generate the plot. So if I save it, because we only have two, it's going to give us only two people, right? Not as much. So if I add more articles based on author, now it's giving us only two, right? James and then Josh. But you can add more to add a difference to it. So I'll do the next one for the pyplot. It's also going to be something similar. So I'll just copy the same thing here and generate the pyplot. So let me expand it. Go back, and then for the pyplot, it's going to be plot.py, right? Then we use the auto percentage to help us with that. So I'll paste it there to save us time. Right, so let's paste it there. Right, perfect. So if I go back to this, it's going to give us our plot. We have one here, and for the auto stats we have two, right? Perfect. Everything is working as expected, right? Cool. So the next thing we need to do is to work on the word cloud. So let's check on the word cloud. So if, let's bring it up, st.checkbox, go to word cloud. So word cloud. So we're using word cloud to help us with that. So in case you don't have it, you can just go with pip installed word cloud to help us with the word cloud. So in doing the word cloud, let's go to st.subheader word cloud. Let's go to generate. Oh boy, can't generate word cloud, right? So it's going to be for the word cloud. So to work with the word cloud is very simple. We'll be using word cloud to help us with that. So I'm just going to join all of the list. I can just go with the test option, right? Test. Then I'll just pick the first one from the column. So let's go to my new df. I'll pick the article. column, then dot ilog for the first one, right, as our test. So let's go to the top of our file. Then we are going to import word cloud. So this is going to be word cloud. It's going to be from word cloud import import word cloud, right? Then you can also import stop words in case you want to work with stop words. Because you want to remove all the stop words. You can also do some other stuff like maybe the image color and then the rest, right? So let's call this image color generator. Right, there are a lot of things you can import from word cloud. So this is something simple. Now I'll just come back here, then I'll use the word cloud that I've imported. Hopefully it doesn't fail us. Then I can just go with it. So let's create our word cloud, which will take our word cloud class, the one we put it up from above. Now passing my dot generate. Inside the generate function, I'll pass in my test, right? Perfect. So I save it. Everything is working as expected. Now to be able to generate it, I can just use a plot.imshow. Now pass in my word cloud. Then I can just give it the other parameters of interpolation. It's equal to linear. There are a lot of things you can do here. The power is in your hand by linear, right? Then for me to see the plot, I can just go with plot.show. But here we can just go straight away with this option of st.pyplot because it is Streamlit. Otherwise it's not going to work. So if I save it and I come back here, hopefully it doesn't give us any error. So let's check it out. Right, if I go with the word cloud here, so let's go with the word cloud. Now it's going to pick the first sentence and generate a word cloud for us. So it's taking some time for it to run. Perfect. Wow, right, cool things, right? Very, very interesting, right? So this is nice, but I don't want this particular stuff to be here. So in case I don't want this one to be there, just go with the plot.access, set that one to off. So if I go with off, now the access is no more going to be there. Right, these lines there are no more going to be there. Very simple, very nice, right? That is all that we have done so far. Very simple, very cool. This, right? This cool, right? Very interesting. So very nice. And then this is nice, but I want to combine everything. So to combine everything, I just, instead of using this option, I can pick this option. I can join all the articles for it using this format. Dot join. I'm going to join all the articles column and use it to generate our word count, right? Our word cloud. So now it's going to combine everything and give us that one. So it's not going to be only the first one, but every article there. It's taking some time for it to run. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, right? So now this is nice, right? Very cool. So you can even save this one in case you want to save it by clicking on save image. Very nice. So that is all. Let's work on the last one on the bar h plot for the length. So it's going to be if st.checkbox going to bar h plot. Then here we will just use the same thing. I will do st.subheader. So this is going to be for the length of the articles, right? Then we can just do the same thing we did above, right? Can use the same thing we did here. We can even put this one outside our entire stuff. We can put it here so that we don't need to be repeating it. Right? Then from here I can just create a bar h plot. So bar h plot, which is going to be the new data frame that I have. Plot, right? Dot bar h is for coming from pandas. Then I'll specify my s. So the s is going to be for the author, and then the y is going to be for the length. That is all, right? Then I can also specify the figure size. So fixed size, the fixed size is going to be this option. So you can make it 2010 or 1020, anyhow you want it to be. Perfect, right? Then to generate the plot, just go with st.py plot. Let's save it and see whether it's going to work. taking some time. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's take off the word cloud. We know what the word cloud is. We have seen how to work with it. Now let's work on the next one, which is going to be for the bar H plot. So if I click on the bar H plot, hopefully it's able to generate a very nice plot for us. The length of articles, taking some time for it to run. So in case you have not subscribed, you can also subscribe and check the link below for some interesting courses. Perfect. So everything is working as expected, right? Very nice. So our app is working as expected. You can even make this one better. That is something very simple that you have built from scratch, right? So we have seen how to build something very nice. So this is a simple blog that you have built with some very cool, let me take myself off, some very cool stuff there, right? So from the beginning, we have seen how to manage the blog. We've seen how to add some articles to our blog, right? And it shows on the first page. We have also seen how to work on the view post, which is going to list all the posts, and you can select a particular post here. It's going to show it here in a very nice format. We have seen also how to go back to the search. You can also search by article. You can see how to add posts. So let's add some posts here. So I'll add another post of Rex. Then this is going to be so cool, right? Then I'll paste in some articles there. Right, so let's paste it here. This has been quite a long tutorial. So let's change it to the future. So let's make it 21st. Then add. I'm going to add it to it. Post has been saved. So if I come back here, if I go to the view post, get that post that we added has been added to it, which is part of here. So cool, right? And then you can check it out, and everything is working. So there's one thing that we also wanted to add, which is the reading time. So we can also add the reading time here, so which is going to be very simple. So I'll paste the function there to make it to save us time, right? So let's work with the reading time. Then that will be all. So all that you have done, we can refactor it to make it look nicer. So I can just go back to this place, add a reading time function here. So to work with the reading time, what is doing that, whatever the person supplies, we are splitting them by space, then dividing them by 200 to get the estimated reading time, right? So I can just come back to what you have done for this one. We had our, let's go to the view post. So we can add it to the search here, or you can add it to this place. So it can be st.test, then reading time dot format. Now pass in my reading time function. So we had a reading time function above. Then I'll pass in my blog article. Very interesting, right? So it's going to give it to us. So I can copy the same thing here for the view, right? I can also do it here for this one too. This is going to work. So let's paste it. You can paste it here, right? So let's check it out. So it's giving us an error. So it's telling us blog article reference before assignment, right? So let's face it out. So we realize that we call it blog article, it's supposed to be B article. That's why it gave us a mistake. So let me copy this one. This B article is referring to this one here. So let's save it and let's change it for this one too, so it doesn't give us any error. So this is going to be B article. So if I go back now, everything is working as expected. Hopefully it's working, right? It's working. Now you can see that we have our reading time here. Very simple and very nice. So thank you for watching this long tutorial. Hope you have learned something. In case you have any question or contribution, you can just put it in the comment section below. We can also refactor this. So the next, in short, what we have done is that we just imported our packages at the top here, right? Then we also created a database connection, right? So this one, we can copy this entire stuff, different functions. We had the function to create a table, function to add data, function to view data, to view all titles, to get the blog by title and by date. And then we also create another function to read time, right? To show our reading time. So I can copy these functions here, or my database function, cut it, create another file, paste it there, and then from here we can actually store this one as, to make it beautiful, right? To modularize our let's call it as db functions, right? In the same location that we have. Then I'm going to import it, right? So if I go with this option, the app is going to fail, right? But to be able to get it, I have to import it. So I can just come back to the same place and go with my db. It's going to be from db function, db functions, import. Oh, right, it's going to be importing. It's supposed to be db functions, but it will still work anyway. db function import all. So we're going to import everything. Everything is working as expected, right? Our app still works, right? App Store works. That is how to make it simple, right? So that in case you want to modify anything, you add your CRUD stuff, just come back to the DB function, then you modify it, right? DB function doesn't sound nice. Let's make it DB functions. Functions, right? Then I'll change it here to DB functions. Perfect. That is for that. We can also modify these ones too. You can also copy all the templates and put inside another function and then export it, right? But this is simple, right? So that in case you want to add more template to it, you design it there, then import it. So that is how to work with it. So something very simple, something very nice. So the magic of what that we have done is with the SQL, which is inside the DB function here, and then the beautification was done by the template. So the power is in your hands. So thank you for watching, and see you another time. Stay blessed. Bye. Jesus saves.